Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Two Men No Hope. We've got a very special episode for you today, as I'm Daniel Radcliffe and I have a special host, Charlie Sloth.
I can't believe it.
What, you invited onto Two Men No Hope?
Yet another celebrity that Jamie looks like.
Just thought I'd fucking throw that out there.
Yeah.
And otherwise, yeah, Harry Potter. Get the jokes in now, it's the only time it's allowed. More like homeless Daniel Radcliffe at the minute. You know what I mean? I look like him when he's got those guns strapped to his hands.
That's a good film, Dan.
It's not a good film because he's a terrible actor.
Guns Akimbo. Have you watched it?
No, because the guy is ridiculously British.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Every film, he just looks British. When he was in that film where he's a hunchback, it's like, oh, there's a British hunchback. He's doing a film where he's Weird Al, and I'm like, oh, that's a very English Weird Al. That's what it's going to be like. That's what he is.
Nah, like Guns Akimbo is like Crank, but
Daniel Radcliffe
with Daniel Radcliffe in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very English guy with guns strapped to his hands. That's what people say when they look at him. That's it. That's the line. Oh, that's a very English whatever he's playing at the time.
Well, whenever I describe it, it's like, oh, what, the one with the guy that Harry Potter in it? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, the English fella. You know, like the English fella that got lost in the jungle. Yeah, that's Daniel Radcliffe as well. How you been this week, man?
I've been good, but just while I remember, I was told today that you have a smooth radio voice, Dan. One that would smooth people into the episodes.
Even though I cock up the intro almost every single time.
Yeah, that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, I've been told quite a few times, not me personally, that we're quite easy to listen to.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Yeah. I agree as well, because when I edit the YouTube video, I have like my headphones on, and I do like the dishes and that, and it's just like listening to us having a phone call again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the way we want it to be.
The thing on Twitter was like, is anyone else like soothed by their own podcast? That's a bit fucking.
Is that narcissistic? I think
that's what I thought. I was like, is that a bit up my own ass? Doesn't matter. It's my fucking our fucking podcast, isn't it?
Sometimes I'm sick of hearing my own voice, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
But I enjoy it every week.
When I look at the video, I've got like pouty lips. I swear to God, they're not fillers. These are all natural. I'll tell you that right now. Can't go wrong with that.
But yeah, my week's been okay. Busy, as always. I've started like a new shift pattern, which has taken me a lot to get used to. And then,
especially when you take overtime, Jamie, trying to kill yourself.
On top of that, I rolled my ankle working out.
You rolled your ankle?
Yeah. On the
How the fuck did you manage that?
I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I was doing my PT session anyway, and I rolled my ankle.
Right.
And then I thought, oh yeah, that's all right. Everything's over. And then yesterday, I burnt my mouth to death with like scalding hot tea, like the most British thing ever.
Fucking hell. But that's your 3 though. They say, didn't they? Bad things always happen in 3. You had your stitches.
Yeah.
You've rolled your ankle, and now you scalded your mouth.
I was sitting there today speaking to my dad, and we were like comparing ailments. What the fuck's wrong with us?
That's an old man thing to do, man.
Yeah, it was. I was like, as soon as I hit 30, I've been fucked.
That's fucking mental. I had a fucking knife fight with a spider the other night.
Knife.
That's how fucking big it was, mate.
Was it big enough that you could hear it walk?
It was big enough that it fucking. I set the scene for you. Right? I've just come home from my mum's, which I go to every Friday for dinner and that, because as you do. So when I come home, I normally just turn the hall light on, which lights up the stairs and that. Brush my teeth, blah blah blah. And I don't even bother switching my bedroom light on because I just jump into bed. What's the point? But I accidentally, for some reason, flipped the wrong switch, so my bedroom light come on, and this fucking rat-sized spider comes running across my floor, and then the cat comes running after it like Tom and Jerry. And I literally just go, no, and I'm running down the stairs, and I'm like, no, not in my fucking house. And I open and get a beer glass, run back upstairs, I'm like, Gizmo, leave it alone, because you could see, like, you know, the front legs, they bend, didn't they?
Yeah.
You could see from a distance its front. That's how big it was. Its front legs like going up.
Oh my god.
So I was just like talking to it like I'm soothing a fucking kitten or something. I put the beer glass over the top of it, and I had to use cardboard to push the legs underneath the glass because it was too wide.
Mate.
Fucking freaking me out, man. And there's you going to, oh, you should have killed it.
I would have smacked it to death, yeah.
If I'd come at it, it would have pulled a knife out on me, man. It was fucking massive. You know what I mean? Not a fucking chance. So I put a thing, and then I couldn't remember. There's a rhyme that you say when you throw a spider out the back door to make sure it doesn't come back. Have you never heard that?
Spider, spider, go away. Is that it?
It sounds like you had the beginning of it. Let's see if I can get a spider rhyme.
Mate, if that was me, yeah, I would have looked around. Normally I hoover them up, innit?
Yeah, so do I. It's not. Oh, it gives me the fucking incy wincy spider. Does no one have a
like a wives' tale?
A nan,
type.
yeah, a nan that fucking. No, I'm not going to find it. If I find it, I'll post it on our socials, and I can't remember that. It's such a that's so annoying. Like, I remember loads of stuff that my nan taught me, but for some reason. Spider song to stop them. Yeah, I'm just trying to put in more detail in Google just to see if it fucking brings me something else. After you throw them out. You just want like an old... I don't want itsy bitsy fucking spider. How to get rid of spiders? Isn't it acorns? Is it acorns? Conkers. But then I heard that if you leave them too long and they start rotting, that then brings them in.
Probably.
Is that right?
Fuckers, yeah.
I used to do it anyway. If I had Gizmo, I used to put in my corner of my windows.
Because I've got them trees backing off me in my house, I have the most amount of spiders all the time at the minute. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, they're fucking all over my house at the minute, but luckily I could hear him killing one the other night, and I was just sort of like, it's like a sleep song, innit? Yeah, you get them. It's the only fucking thing you're good for at the minute, yeah. I fucking rent dodging prick.
Talking about insects, man. Did I ever tell you what happened with me and the cockroach in Tenerife?
Oh, mate, I fucking hate them things. Was it a little one or a big one?
It was humongous. Like, literally, I could hear the wings flapping, yeah? That's how big this cunt was. And then it was me, my two brothers, and Tom. Do you know our mate Tom? Mm-hmm. We were all like pre-drinking in the room in Tenerife. And we were all sitting around the beds pre-drinking. I could see it on like the fucking door frame, innit? And I was like, look at that. I said, I've never seen an insect that big in my life. I said, I haven't been to Australia, but that is one big motherfucker, yeah. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I can't sleep in here until I know that's out. Yeah. So then we were like, me and Kieran, we were all drunk. Me and Kieran were like trying to like shoot it out the door. We were like chasing it with flip-flops and stuff, yeah. And then we started spraying it with oust. We found some oust in the cupboard. And we were spraying it. It did nothing, because obviously they can survive radioactive fucking anything, can't they? So then we got it, shooed it into the corridor of the hotel, and then we come out, and we were going back into the other room to get the alcohol, and it was flying down the middle of the corridor at us. And me
it's like,
Kieran,
I've already been made stronger by that. Thanks very much.
we like angered it, and me and Kieran just ran away like little schoolgirls, yeah. And then we finally stunned it with a flip flop, and then Tom come out. We put it under a basket, like a bin basket.
Oh yeah.
And Tom come out, yeah, and he just literally like run and jumped on top of the basket, and the fucking thing was splattered everywhere.
Oh man, fucking hell! Those things have probably got the most amount of juice in them.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And about 45 minutes later, the little man from the hotel come up and was like, "There's been 6 noise complaints from your room."
We're like, well, we got a fucking bug infestation, mate. You want to get this shit sorted?
And that was the day after. Do you remember when I said that we went up to the room and we set the fire alarm off in the hotel by demisting the? We were. Do you remember you steam your clothes when you're on holiday? You leave the shower on and put your clothes in there. We were doing that, and we opened up and it set the fire alarm off. We did that the day before, and the next day we got 6 noise complaints. And we weren't even singing or nothing. It was pure sheer terror from this fucking cockroach. 4 grown men.
Get the hell, man. That's mental.
4 grown men.
Oh, I don't know if anyone cares, but for people future listeners that are like, oh, what's he going on about? Me and Hannah have stopped whatever we were doing, just for people's. So I'm now single, and we'll be filthy as fuck again.
Oh no!
Bashing it and trying to stop it and
trying to go celibate again for a little while.
Trying to go celibate again, yeah. Just in case people are like, oh, why isn't he mentioned her in a while? Yeah, it's just it reached its end. Oh, it would have been nice for it to go further, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You grow older, you get over it. That's life.
Yeah, shit, man. It is shit.
It is shit, yeah. And we had a really good time. But she has renewed my faith in women, because I'd met very, very many crazy ones.
Yeah.
And she wasn't, so...
That's the main thing to take away from it, I think.
Yeah. No, we had a really good time the whole time, so... Sad it ended, but, you know, yeah, it happens. I've still got you guys, and Jamie, unfortunately, but he's always going to be there.
You ain't losing me, Dan. I'll be there on your grave, Dan.
Hey, wait, why am I dying first?
I feel like I'm eternal. Now that I've gone through all this shit, I feel like I could never die.
When either of us one dies, it's going to be the theme song for the podcast playing at our funeral now. It's one of my my CD hits. Right, let's get on with the show. So, we said last time we'd really appreciate if you'd leave us some stars when you listen to the stuff, and we did. We got a few.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everyone that took the time to leave us. It helps us out. It gets us back in like the charts, and people see it. You know, I mean, we're all on social media trying to boost listeners and things like that. But the main thing that helps is the stars. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep.
We've got another episode of 3 questions. The questions are so good, and you know, I mean, they're quite quick questions that we just want to answer them.
We don't want to make people wait too long either, do we?
No. Not for like a small question. If it's a big question, we'll give like a whole episode. But we try and it's difficult because we want to do it as quick as possible because we don't like make people wait. But I say to the people, we only do like 1 episode a week, so we try and do it as quick as possible. And we've got 5 bands lined up for the next, well, say 5 weeks, 5 bands. Some really, really good ones. So we've had a lot of feedback saying they enjoy the song segment, and we got some belters, so that's 5 weeks to look forward to. And we've got a special episode 20 is going to be a good one as well.
Yep, we've got a special guest coming on for the episode 20,
so you're going to wait for that as well,
which ain't too far away now, which is mad to think.
Yeah, I know, 20 episodes, man. I don't know the last time I stuck to something as long as...
And we're doing it every fucking week, Dan. Like, we ain't actually skipped anything.
Missed, no.
By now,
you've been on holiday.
Podcast has missed something.
Yeah, no. You've been on holiday. We've caught up. We struggled. We fell a bit behind. Well, I fell a bit behind in the old TikTok. But we're back on that. So it's all good. Instagram's fucking blowing up at the minute. My phone's just doing nothing but fucking beeping.
The notifications are a little bit annoying. Like, could you imagine if you had thousands of people doing it?
Oh man, I don't know how celebrities do it. Like, you just start like you're a major A-lister, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go on Instagram. Whoom. Your phone would just give up.
I think what they would have to do, they would have to turn the notifications can't be on, surely.
Do you remember there was when Jack Black started up his YouTube channel during lockdown?
Yeah.
And he hadn't even posted a video. He literally just signed up and put his photo on it. And I think he had like 1.5 million subscribers.
Mate, Jack Black, send me some of them, innit?
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Some of them are so good. I've missed a few But during lockdown, that really fucking made me
We need
laugh.
to get some kind of celebrity endorsement, don't we?
Wow, fucking hell. I'm hoping, but I'd love Steve-O, man. I'd love to talk to Steve-O.
Yeah.
If I ever got the fucking chance.
He has a really good podcast.
He does, yeah. That's because I've never, before we started a podcast, I never listened to him.
Mm.
And now I listen to Bottled Up Bitches, Steve-O, Joey Diaz, and Bad Friends with Bobby
and
Andrew
Santino.
Which makes me laugh, man. It's so funny. Like, they're just always at each other's throat. I don't know how they're friends.
I was listening to the first episode of that today, and he was like, he's talking about his dad. He was like, my dad died last month. He was like, everyone knows your dad died, Bobby. No one gives a shit.
Yeah. I love it when he's always doing the Chinese accent, and he's like, don't do that because I'll leave. And he's like, I wasn't doing it. And he goes, you was doing it. He's like, that's a robot voice, isn't it? Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. Anyway, we're getting off subject, promoting other people's podcasts.
Yeah. But I think it's true. Podcasting people do listen to podcasts. It's like,
I think it helps hearing other people's. I think we do a lot of things the same as a lot of podcasts. Like we have the music at the beginning,
yeah,
and it's all everyone's structured a little differently. Like everyone has like seasons, but we're just doing.
Some people are really scripted as well. Like
yeah.
Last podcast on the left is quite scripted.
Yeah, I think it's better to be like you don't know what you're gonna get. I couldn't follow a script. I think that's probably my ADHD, but just do my head in, man.
I definitely couldn't. Look at us trying to do an intro and outro, Dan. If we were trying to follow a fucking script, this podcast would not be still going.
I don't think people would listen to us.
Even reading my own questions out that I wrote in the game show one, I was struggling to read my own handwriting.
That's why you get me to read things out. Why much fucking better. I just get really nervous that because I read things before they're there, so I always cock it up, and it just makes. But I'm getting a bit better. I think if you listen to the first episode compared to now,
it's almost like when you want people to listen to the podcast, you're like, start off on like episode 3, and it just.
I always, when people are like podcast recommendations, I'm like, I've never posted. Oh, by the way, you should listen to episode 1. No. I start from episode 4.
Yeah.
Deveining the Snickers was so far my all-time favourite episode, and then go on.
That burger episode was good as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The burger. That episode 3, wasn't it? Something like that.
I think so. I think we got into our stride pretty quickly, but the first episode was very first episode-y.
Yeah. Shite from. We didn't know what we were doing. Shite from the internet. And the moral of that story is go back and listen to them again.
Yeah. Give us some more listens.
Give us some more listens, yeah. That fucking good pods, man. Get nothing from that. Just mid-minute, must have been a random fluke. Right, so the first email we got sent in, and I'm going to cock the name up, and I'm sorry if I do, because I'm very bad with names. Tamil? Did I say that right?
Tamil?
Tamil? No, that's how it's spelled, not how it sounds. How you say it.
Tamil?
I don't know. We're fucked. Anyway, we loved your email. You love the music part. I'll talk about the first part of your email in the music part. But the question is, so I've got a really bad burp. Like, you know, it gets right at the bottom of your throat, and you can feel it moving up.
Yeah.
Fucking alcohol, man. Who drinks it? Everyone. Right. This is a fucking. When I had this email, man, I got it at work on my lunch break, and I swear to God, I wanted to phone you up and record the episode in my fucking car. It was like reading fire.
The audacity.
So,
anyway,
mate. I've moved my first house in a block of apartments, and I frequently get a takeaway on a Saturday, which with the new building layout causes a lot of confusion. I found something very strange last weekend. My neighbour accepted my takeaway according to the Uber Eats app. When I knocked on the door, he gave me my food and there were missing items from the delivery. I had 16 chicken nuggets instead of 20, and my fries looks like they had a handful taken out of them. McDonald's said they sent me a full delivery, but I got the money back anyway and it never turned up. I finished the food when I noticed at the bottom an open dip container, and I looked back on it thinking he was chewing when he answered the door for me to go get it. Am I just being paranoid, or do you think I should confront him? He seems like a nice guy, but only crazy people would steal food, right?
100%.
Only dickwads would steal food. No one touches my food, man. That's just a big fucking no-go. I don't give a fuck.
100%. And you are a brave man for eating it, because, or woman, I don't know, or they, or him, or she, or whatever the pronoun is. But anyway, there's no way, if I'd seen someone touching it, that I'd touch it. That especially if I noticed, as soon as I noticed there was less chicken nuggets, I'll be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. I think they can't fuck up by 4. That's what I'll be thinking. McDonald's ain't fucking up by 4. They've got some kind of system in place, do you know what I mean?
No. And for it to happen frequently, for you to miss a complete order, it just disappear and they give you your money back.
I know.
Yeah, I mean.
I know. And yeah, I've heard of a similar story, but I'll go into that after. But as regards to advice, I wouldn't confront them because it's a new neighbour and things can get weird with neighbours very quickly. But at the same time, just be wary that you're living next door to a potential psychopath that's eating your food. And if you were to try and get a Sainsbury's delivery or something, yeah, they would take your shopping in. And they would live off your weekly shop.
That's fucking... I can't believe the fucking cheek. Like, the person's got to have some fucking balls to accept delivery, knowing full well you're going to come fucking looking for it.
You'd at least give it 10 minutes, Dan.
And take... fuck, he's been in it. He come through the door, he's fucking in it, Jamie. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, I was thinking today, I was like, well, how would a Lutoner deal with this? And I'd be like, he'd come up to the door, he'd knock on the door. He'd be like, bruv, where's my food?
That's exactly what I would do.
He'd be like, you haven't got your food. And he'd be like, don't be fucking lying to me, bruv. I can smell my chicken nuggets on your breath. I swear to God, you lied to me again, man. Give me my fucking chicken nuggets. And he'd be like, I haven't got your fucking chicken nuggets. I'd be like, bruv, I'm going to come in there. I'm going to make you some brown bread. And get me my fucking chicken nuggets so I can go back home. Using my fucking dole money.
Yeah.
That's how it would go. That's how it goes.
If it was me, yeah, the first situation would be I'd be very polite. I'd be like, oh, sorry, I think you might have got my delivery or whatever. And once I realised, I don't know whether I could hold back or not knocking on the door again. Once I realised he's opened my dip up, yeah, there's 2 people that could have ate my food. It's either the fucking delivery driver or whoever delivers it, or the geezer next door. And the geezer next door is within my access. And if I've had a few drinks,
which I would have
from ordering something on the Saturday, I might have to knock on the door, even if I was just trying to act casual about it.
Opening the fucking dip is like writing a note and being like, thanks, I needed that.
And the thing is, like, from the sounds of it as well, he didn't even take anything out of the, like, he didn't take it all out of the bag, because he just, like, handed it back, so he's, like, eating it while it's in the bag. What kind of fucking mental case?
He just dug his hands in.
Yeah,
like, be like,
orangutan
situation, I'd be like, oh, mate, I think you've got my food, and he hands it to you, and you open the bag, and you just give him a look, and you're like, is this a fucking joke? You think I'm taking this now? How much money you got on you? He'd be like, what? I'd be like, you've been touching this, man. It's cost me £10. I want 20.
Yeah.
Inflation, mate. Inflation. It went from the McDonald's to here. Prices have gone up. 20 quid. Give me my money.
I'll just get the bag and pour it over his head. I'll turn it upside down, pour it over his head, let the chicken nuggets fall to the ground.
Twist it like you're twisting a fucking dirty bin bag, and then just fucking whack him with it.
Mate, when I read the email, I had, like, what kind of mental case would do something like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree, though. Don't, like, he's got huge fucking testes. I wouldn't confront him. I'd be more looking out for my deliveries in the future to make sure he hasn't.
Yeah.
Or, like, there's a bit where you can leave a note. Please don't leave at my neighbour's. He's a food stealing bastard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know the pain of when you move into a new build, how difficult it is to get deliveries and stuff. because they never know the fucking postcode. They'd be calling me up and they're in an industrial state the other side of town or whatever. But just be vigilant, man. Do not let this guy think this is going to be a common occurrence, and it like he'll be like, oh, it's Saturday. He orders every Saturday. This guy hangs out in the hall, innit? Starting waiting for your food to turn up.
Yeah.
But it happened to me. Well, not the guy didn't eat my stuff, but it happened to me where when I had COVID in December, obviously we couldn't leave the house. And down here you can get like Sainsbury's delivered to your house or Co-op delivered to your house. So we did like a shop. So we ordered like 90 quid's worth of stuff from Sainsbury's. And the delivery driver got confused because we weren't long moved in. And he decided that he was going to drop it off at some random fucking house to a guy called Mohammed. Who got like all of our like weird food that we got because Charlotte couldn't taste. So Charlotte was like saying, "Oh, order me this, see if I can taste this. Order me that, see if I can taste that." And I was like, "Okay." So then we had like 90 quid's worth of like weird food because neither of us. I could taste a little bit. She could taste like nothing. And this Mohammed accepted the whole lot, innit? Accepted the whole lot. And I was like on the phone to Deliveroo for about 45 minutes trying to get my refund. And I was like, well, we need the food because we can't go out because that was like full lockdown time.
Yeah.
And I was like, we both have COVID. We've been living off like Deliveroo for the last week. We want some normal food. And then there was like, okay, so they sent it back out. And they sent it back out, and the guy left it like in the middle of the road outside my house because he knew that we had COVID. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Do you know what I mean? Jesus
Christ, man.
And I also heard of a story of Charlotte's friend having the exact same situation where the neighbour has taken the food in and they've started eating it.
That's fucking mental, man. I had that, like, they dropped it because no, I'm not going to say the number of my house. I'm one number, and they'd left it at the number that's like a digit missing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they come up and they were like, oh, this guy's just brought this to the house, I think it's yours. So the delivery guy left it with him, and he was kind enough to walk a few houses up the street and give it to me, and I was like, oh, thanks, man, I really appreciate it.
Because that is a normal human being, Dan.
Yeah, that's what you would normally do, yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't fucking... Oh, man, I couldn't even imagine it. I'd be so fucking embarrassed. Can you imagine someone knocking on your door and you're like, what? You're like, oh, I had that delivered. And I'd be like, I didn't deliver this? I mean, I didn't order this? And it's like, no, you didn't. Oh, that's weird, because I'm waiting for McDonald's as well.
That would be some fucking coincidence. out of 150 fucking places you can order from.
the same apartment block.
Yeah.
Ordered McDonald's at the same time.
Me and Charlotte accepted. Well, I accepted a parcel, as you do but I didn't know it was for a neighbour. It was an Amazon parcel. I just assumed it was mine. Yeah. So I just literally grabbed onto the lid of it and ripped it off. And inside was 400, well, not 400, probably about 40 pouches of cat food. And I was like, well, this isn't mine. And the geezer didn't come back, yeah. So I was like, what do I do? And instead of being weird and like trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace, which a lot of like weirdos would try to do.
Yeah, people would do that.
I took it back to the Royal Mail depot because they're the ones that sub out for Amazon round here, yeah.
Okay.
And I took it in there, wrapped it back up, and I was like, this has been delivered to the wrong address. So that is what a normal human does.
Yeah.
But if you've got that guy next to you, he's accepting your parcels as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sitting there playing your PlayStation 5, eating your food, and playing and listening to your music, mate. That's what's going on.
That makes me laugh because you were saying, should we not say the name even though we both cooked it up? Because it might be none of us. And I'm like, yeah, because they're going to be going down to go collect their McDonald's. And then he opens the door and it's like us in the background. That'd be a fucking...
Could you imagine?
Be like, oh, I heard you listening to these guys in your apartment. I thought I'd give it a go. Stealing your food, am I? So I was thinking, because this is along the same lines as when you go out with your missus or your mates, and you say to them, "Do you want anything?" and they say no.
Yep.
And I was like, "You've been with Charlotte for a very long time now. If you're like out, and you like, oh, I'm gonna pop to Tesco's and I'm gonna get myself something for Friday night," would you just, knowing that she probably going to say she doesn't want anything, would you still get her something?
Yeah. There's been points in where she's being good or whatever, and I said, well, I'm getting, say if I'm having a few beers, and I say I'll get a chocolate bar, and she says she don't want nothing, I still come home with a 12 or something, because I know that she's going to try and eat my fucking food.
Because there's a situation where, like, if you go out for a meal, and you go, like, or not for a meal, like, you go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, just going to stop for McDonald's, I want a cheeseburger. It's like 99p, well, not anymore. And you're like, oh, do you want anything? And she's like, no. And you're like, but I'm going to get you something anyway. You can't win in that situation, because if you buy her something...
Then you're, like, force-feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want it, he didn't want it. But if you don't get it, they're going to want to bite.
Yeah.
So where's the middle ground of that?
There's no middle ground.
Don't go to McDonald's.
You just accept the loss straight away. You accept the L. Like... I know Charlotte's pretty assertive when it comes to like restaurants and stuff like that, so I can get away with it most of the time. But when it is left to me, I just think, what is the situation where I'm going to fare off better out of this? Do you know what I mean?
See, I think it's better brownie points for you to come home with some extra and be like, oh no, I didn't want anything, but I thought I'll get you something anyway as a little treat, and then oh Jamie, that's so nice.
I normally pretend that I got more than what I actually can handle, and then just like handle what I actually bought her.
That's good, man. That's smart. Never even thought about like, oh, I'm really full. Do you want to finish this off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I never thought about that. That's a good one.
That's 10 years of being with a fucking woman, mate.
Put that in the old arse, and I will. So, there's not a lot. You can confront him if you wanted to, and just say, oh look, I'm not sure if you took any of my food, but I appreciate if it happens again, you would leave it alone. It's not going to go down well. And like Jamie says, if you've just moved in, you're going to be there for a long time, and you've just created something that you didn't need to create. I would take the loss, and I said, there's always that little comment bit that says special requirements, or like I always put my doorbell don't work because it doesn't, and just keep an eye out for it. I'm sure you can track Uber Eats, can't you?
Normally, yeah.
Yeah. So I would just track it, because he's not going to stop doing it, and the only way then you're going to have to confront him, and it's not going to be pretty.
Well, if he does it again, then he's testing your boundaries, and that's when you're going to have to go over and be assertive. You don't have to be aggressive, but you have to be assertive.
Yeah, because he's just going to keep taking the fucking piss.
Yeah.
But be safe. We don't want nothing to happen.
We don't know who's living next door at the end of the day.
Exactly. So always be safe. And they also say that we've helped through very stressful times in the last 2 months. Obviously, moving is really fucking stressful, and we appreciate that. We did this podcast just because to keep in contact, really. You know what I mean?
Keep in contact, keeping each other sane.
Yeah, exactly. And it's become routine now, and I get a bit loopy before I do it. But it's always good to hear that people appreciate our bollocks, and if it de-stresses you, then it keeps us happy.
It's good to even like, because obviously we're two idiots trying to give out advice to people that are writing into us, but it's good to have to know that we've actually, like, some people have actually taken it in, and it's actually
sometimes you need advice from someone that's what therapists do. They're strangers, aren't they?
Yeah.
You're paying a stranger to listen to your problems, and we're doing it for fucking free, so you're welcome. Dr. Dan and Dr. Maltman sounded better than Dr. Jamie by this, sorry. Right, so we've got so last episode, if you listen to it, we were talking about being at school, and someone that we worked with at the co-op and also went to the same school as me sent me the name of that, the teacher, said about the teacher, the chocolate fingers.
Oh yeah,
substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Mercer. So, call out to Mr. Mercer. Rest in peace, man. You were one of the very few good memories I had at school, so appreciate it, man. So I'm glad he got in touch, because that was good. I did that racist voice. And like, it's not, it's fact, because that's what he sounded like. I was fucking on point. And so I'm going to call him out right now, because I have a very different recollection, whatever it is, of why he left. But he says he remembers being at the co-op as an assistant manager at the time and having to jump on the tills to cover, and an old teacher came in to buy his veg, and he gave him one of those really disappointing what a shame sort of looks. And he said he came in the next day and handed his notice in. Did either of us have a trigger at the co-op or anywhere else that led to you quitting your job and realising that you just couldn't take it anymore? Now, I remember, was I in the bakery? I was in the bakery at this point, because I went from stocking shelves to being in the bakery full time. And I remember him storming out in the middle of the day, just walking out of the shop. And I didn't know what was going on. He came, I don't know if he took the next day off completely, but he came in the next day with his notice, and I was like, what the fuck happened? He goes, he had a massive argument with the manager at the time, and he's like, I'm not fucking putting up with it anymore, and he just fucking walked out.
Maybe that,
and then he was like,
serving that guy in the till led to that, maybe. Don't know.
Maybe. But that's how I remember it. I remember him having that fucking massive fallout, because she's a fucking... not saying anything. And yeah, and he was like, oh, I've got enough savings for a few months to keep me going. You know, if I'm not with this fucking shithole, I can like look for jobs full time. Yeah. And I think he left. No, I think like 1 or 2 days before he left, he got given a job somewhere else.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's such a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time, but I'm sure that's what... I'm sure he'll listen to this message and send us another one. But that's how I remember it. But what about you? Was you ever in that situation, Jay? What made you want to leave the co-op?
I remember, because at the time that I left, I was a manager down like Enfield, Essex way. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was like, I was missing some kind of like family event. It was a Sunday morning. I was missing some kind of family event, and I was like pissed off that I was missing it. But what had happened was the night before, I had someone call in sick to me, and obviously the only other person, because I'm the manager, I had to go in and cover. Yeah. And I remember standing there fuming. I think I was doing bakery at the time. I think I was like putting out croissants or whatever. And then the mother of one of my old employees, who at the time is like a 22-year-old girl, come in to me and said to me that she feels as though she's not getting enough work and she's not getting enough hours in the shop. And obviously, you know me, Dan, I've always tried to be fair with people, innit? Yeah. And like, I was trying to spread the shifts evenly, but this girl just wasn't capable of doing certain things and was too slow at like putting out deliveries or whatever. So I took the abuse off the mum and just stood there in pure silence and just listened to her ranting at me. And then she had the audacity to start talking to me about my weight when I was standing there. And then I was just like, why am I listening to this woman about her fucking like spoiled little brat child? So then I essentially told her to fuck off without saying fuck off.
Well, that's what you got to do. You learn to give the abuse back without being insulting.
Yeah, I was like basically calling her a cunt with a smile, basically. And then I think after that, that girl quit, and then put what's that thing called? Complainting against me, which went nowhere. But just because she put the complaint in, I was just like, I'm dealing with children. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I cannot be bothered to deal with this like politics anymore. So then that was the day I was just like, oh, I'm done here. It
makes you laugh that she's fucking wanting more hours, yet you're the dickhead that had to leave a family event because no one would come in.
Exactly. And she's sending her mum in. Yeah. She's 22 years old. At 22, well, at 24 I was married. At 22 I was not much older than her because I was already a manager. Yeah. I think I became a manager at 22. So what planet is she? Oh, I just remember standing there and like I just knew the girl was a sporty little brat, and she's obviously telling her mum one thing and telling me another because she didn't want to work any more hours. She was lazy.
Yeah, like a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to get, because we both, like, so all three of us worked at the co-op, and I wanted to get away from, obviously, my situation for leaving the co-op was I had a manager that didn't listen and essentially was like bullying me, so I put in a complaint and they didn't want to fucking know. 7 years of being there, and he just walked through the door and it was his side, you know what I mean? But I was going to leave there anyway, but
I think the time we were all in the co-op at the same time was probably the best time to be.
Yeah,
when we were all
even
in
though
the
we
same
hated
shop
it,
at the same time. That
we
was
still was fucking, yeah, we had some good times, the three of us.
yeah.
But the job that I remember physically not being able to do, I self-sabotage, Jamie. Like, if I could kick myself in the bollocks, I'd probably do it every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was working at the airport in Luton, and I was pretty good in there because I worked with alcohol.
You was working with whiskey, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I was fucking selling whiskey. I was a dynamo, mate. But as Dan does, I was end up sleeping with someone in the perfume department, and she wasn't a mess. She was just fucking explosive. Apparently that's what I'm attracted to. So like we were sleeping together and everything, and then I thought it was going to go a bit more, but it didn't. And then this guy ended up. He worked with his girlfriend doing like the restocking and the merchandising. They've been together for like 7-8 years, and all of a sudden they break up, and then she's like, "Oh, I want to try my chances with him," and is like flirting and stuff in front of me. And they went into like the changing rooms together, and I was like, I can't fucking stand looking at this. Like, what the fuck's going on? And I don't like to share, as the food situation goes as well. So I'm just like, what the fuck? So I started, I don't feel well, blah, 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 not coming into my work. Which obviously I couldn't do. I need to pay my bills. And luckily you said to me, there's a supervisor job going back at the co-op. And just praised be that I got that. I didn't even do my last day. I don't think I even went in for it because I just couldn't handle it. But to be fair to her, they're married now, I think, and they've got like a kid together. So it's not like it was but it's just a shitty way she did it.
Yeah.
Like rubbing it in front of me, but I physically couldn't work. Like I physically couldn't do it.
Yeah, of course not.
It was just in my face the whole time, and I was like, nah, I've got to go.
That's fucked up.
But self-sabotage, man.
Yeah, because that was during the point where me and you weren't really speaking very much when you went to that job, was we? And then when we had like a catch up, and then that's when I said to you about the job, I think.
Yeah, because I was probably saying to you like, I can't stay there, man, because and it was just lucky. But they were bullshitting me anyway. They told me that when I got there, I was like, because I always say to whenever I have an interview for a job, I'm like, is there room for me to progress? Yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to be a supervisor, that's fine. And so I was like selling alcohol. I got a part-time thing with like the promotion company there, selling whiskey on my days off, learning all about the new drink coming in. And then I was like, this guy's leaving. Can I interview for the permission? And one guy said yes, and then the area manager woman came in and was like, oh no, you need at least 2 years experience. And I'm like, but I work for you. What am I supposed to do? Leave for 2 years to get a suit and then come back? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Oh, they're just the rules. I was like, fuck off then.
Yeah, that's the biggest fob off in all history, isn't it?
Yeah. How's that? That doesn't even make sense. You're not going to take on someone that you know works for you, comes in day out and day out.
Yeah.
Nah. Fuck off. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so that's it. But
I think
when he left, his life was a lot better. I remember him coming in saying, the fucking grass is greener when you leave this fucking shithole.
Yeah.
And now he's got a family, man, and you seen his kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well done, man. You got a beautiful family, and you're not in the co-op anymore, so well done, man. Hopefully when I'm back down, we'll have to meet up for a beer or something.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Get some more ideas for the podcast.
But I think, yeah, we come to a point like that in every job. Like, even I remember mentioning I don't know whether I mentioned it on the podcast before. I think I have. of where I was doing that Windows job. It was like my very first job, proper job.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to have KFCs on a Monday, and they like two guys started arguing over the chicken, and then the team leader was like, right, we're going to fight in the car park. I was like 16, maybe 17 watching this, and these two full grown men went down to the car park in Dalla Road and started beating each other up over this fucking chicken. And I was just like, I remember standing there, and I went home to my mum. Mum was like, you ain't going back there. That was literally that's the job that got me into co-op and then led me to be a manager. So everything works out. Do you know what I mean?
I can't believe you sold Windows. I remember going, like, I was trying to get into like marketing. I don't know why. I thought it'd be quite a good idea. But this fucking company was like, oh, we'll take you at the bottom and we'll teach you marketing. And I was like, fucking blinding. Went into this office and it was just full of fucking kids. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? They're doing like push-up competitions in the fucking boardroom and that.
So it's like a call centre.
Yeah, no. And the manager took me in and he's like, oh yeah, we'll teach you all about marketing, blah, blah, blah. We'll teach you how to do this and do that. You can go out with this team and they'll show you the ropes.
Mm.
And he pulls me. I didn't even know what I was doing. And we go out and he calls a guy over. And he's like, goes in there and he's like, oh, great group of guys. Like, we're a family here. Like, I moved into a new house and I was painting my kitchen and all the guys come round and we had beers and we painted the kitchen together. And I thought to myself, right there, mate, cheap labour. They put me on a fucking bus. I got on the bus with these fucking guys. Ended up on a 40-minute bus journey to fuck knows where, man. I couldn't... somewhere on the outside of London, but I had no money, so I had to stay with these fucking guys. They were knocking on people's doors, getting them to sign up to fucking Amazon Prime or something.
Oh fucking hell! It was like a door-to-door salesmanship.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, oh mate, you can make loads of fucking money. And I'm just standing there, and they're like, oh, we think you'd be really good at it. And I was like, yeah, I would be, but I ain't gonna fucking do it, mate. And I had to stay there. This is my only day off. I was working at the co-op, I'm pretty sure. My one day off, I had to go back to work for another 5 days. And I went to the interview at 9 o'clock and I got home at 6 o'clock that night.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, what a biggest waste of my fuck. I couldn't get the train home because I had no money. They had my bus ticket. They kept it on them, so I couldn't go anywhere.
That's literally forcing you into it, isn't it?
Fucking hell, man. I was just sort of like, nah. And I just berated the guy. The guy was like, oh, I make loads of money. And I'm like, this is a fucking disgraceful job.
like, this is a fucking pyramid scheme.
9 hours. I'm just like, mate, I don't know how you could do this. I'm so fucking embarrassed walking down the streets. I'm wearing a suit, knocking on people's door. I feel like a fucking funeral salesman. Like, oh, is anyone dead in your family? I can put them in a casket for you. And you can see him getting more and more annoyed and his smile's going. And I was getting me off this fucking bus, man, you piece of shit.
That's how the Windows thing started for me. I started doing that. We were sold the dream of like you'd make all this money from commission and all that shit. It gets to the end of the week, we spent all of our money in the pub round the corner from the fucking office.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You spend the money on the fucking travel. They don't reimburse you for that shit, huh? Just imagine. You can imagine the fear on my face as we getting further and further away from Luton, man. I'm like, where the fuck are we going? So that answers your question. Thanks for sending it in. Keep in contact, man. Like I said, well done on everything you've done since you've left the co-op, man. I still see your posts and that. So it's good to see you're on the right track, man. So, the long-awaited email that we've been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I forgot about this.
So we all remember the Get Lamped episode, one of our most requested follow-up emails that people have wanted to know about, and he replied.
Finally.
He heard the episode, and he was really sorry that he hadn't got back in touch. He said that he'd had a crazy month and blah blah blah, but he said there's good news. The lamp is no more. Huzzah! So he says, we had a housewarming shortly after the episode aired, and I'm not sure if it's the gods of karma or just one of my stupid friends, but after the housewarming the lamp no longer turned on. I attempted to fix it for her, but had no luck. I treated it to a nice John Lewis lamp instead. I know a few of my friends listen to the podcast, and it may or may have not been a coincidence. Thank you for the advice. I really laughed at Jamie's way of solving the problem. I wish you had the balls to break it. And I said, well, let's just pretend that your amazing mates didn't break it for you, and it was
done you a favour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you imagine them trying to piss about with it when no one's looking.
I'll be like, do you know when a little bit where the wire goes in? I'd be pulling like fuck on that bit, trying to get it just to get it a little bit loose.
I'd be like standing there, like leaning over the top of it, and every now and again I'll just lean my pint over, just dribble a little beer on top of it.
Do you know what? I was talking to my mum about it today, yeah. And you think my initial breaking of the lamp theory was bad? Mm-hmm. My mum topped me, yeah. She turned around and said to me, before I'd even said what my suggestion was, she goes, what's the lamp thing about then? And I saw that on TikTok, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I started explaining it, yeah. And she was like, well, that's easy. You just set it alight and pretend that it started a fire.
Oh, like it shorted and caught the house on fire.
Yeah. She said it's a bit risky, but as long as you react to the fire. I was like, Mum, you're fucking mental.
When she comes home and he's built like a brick thing round the edge of it, like you do with a fire in the woods.
Oh, trying to contain the fire.
And he's moved everything out, and he's like, "Can you smell burning?" Oh, it's got flames. She's like, "Well, it looks a bit prepared now. You fucked that." I don't want the house to burn on fire, you know what I mean?
Like a controlled explosion, innit, from the fucking Met Police or something.
It's like Mythbusters. But thank you for the email back. I know a lot of people have been waiting to hear about what happened. And like I said, huzzah. And the John Lewis lamp, man, that's not cheap. So
that's definitely an upgrade.
Well done on your part, man.
Definitely
an
upgrade.
For sure. If you walk into someone's house, you know when they've got a fucking John Lewis lamp.
You want to be able to say turn on and that cunt turns on. That's what you want.
Yeah. Mate, I would keep the price tag hanging off it. That's what I would do. Hey, you want to talk about John Lewis, our fucking Prime Minister? Was it John Lewis who was decorating his entire
house with it? I'm sure it was.
Yeah, he got into a lot of trouble because we're paying for him to redecorate old number 10. Is it number 10?
Refurbing number 10, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I always get confused because there's a serial killer that lived at number 10 in London. He was pretending to give women abortions and then killing them, buried him in the garden.
Who's that?
10 Brillington Place.
I thought I would know every serial killer.
I can't remember his name. That's really it's not Dr. Crippen, is it? Yeah, he eventually got done because he had some tenants move in and he killed the woman. There's a really good TV sort of movie thing about it that was played with Tim Dudar.
Tim Dudar.
He was in Reservoir Dogs. He did that Lie to Me program.
Oh, that guy, Tim. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Roth, Tim Roth.
Tim Rothman.
Is that right?
Tim Roth. Are you talking?
John Christie.
It was a little bit older, wasn't it? It was like set in like early 1900s.
The serial killer was named John Christie.
That's it. I do know.
1971. I think is when it happened.
Him and his wife lived together, and he was beating her up all the time.
And it was Tim Roth. Yeah, but yeah, he used to pretend that he was a doctor in the army, I think.
Yeah.
And he'd come back and he could tell women that he would see him and then he would strangle him and bury him in the garden. But the last one was horrific because did she have a child? And he tried to kill the I can't remember. It's been a long time.
He was doing backstreet abortions, wasn't he?
Yeah. But 10 Brillington Place, Tim Roth was he did a really good job. So it's worth a watch if you ever want to watch something about serial killers. because I know a lot of you people do out there, because me and Jamie aren't the only sick bastards out there.
I completely forgot about that. That's so mad that I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, Christy.
Did you ever watch Des?
There's also a really good... Huh?
Did you ever watch Des?
I haven't, but I know of
mate,
Dennis
it's unbelievable.
Nelson. It's crazy, isn't it? To think that he wouldn't have got caught. Anyway, we're going off.
Sorry.
Actually, no. The next question that the Get Lamp guy gave us could follow on this. So he says, quick question leading from your last episode. I can't remember what we're talking about. He says, if you guys... Oh, we're talking about Scientology. If you guys were a cult leader, what would the premises of your cult be, and would you drink the Kool-Aid? The Kool-Aid is from the
massacre where he killed like 900 people.
Yeah, it's got a name in it.
Jonestown, isn't it?
Jonestown, that's it.
Where John Jones managed to kill
Jonestown
900 people by giving them the Kool-Aid. It wasn't even Kool-Aid as well. When I looked into it, it was it's called like Sugar Aid or something. It was like the cheap equivalent.
Yeah, because all that money he fucking had, he weren't worth to fucking.
Have you heard the recording?
We're just gonna fucking die.
Does that
I haven't. No, I wanted to watch the thing about it, but I'm too cheap to pay for it.
On YouTube, there's recordings of it. It's absolutely horrible, man. You can hear him. He's still preaching because obviously he's the last one to drink it, and you can hear all the kids crying and the parents forcing the kids to have it. And then once people start realizing people are dying and frothing from the mouth, they like start trying to run.
Oh yeah,
and like the security guys are like forcing them back into their room and stuff like that. And like 900 people die in that because they went and stayed in like some weird country.
Yeah, they had their own like island and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if we're already on that route, we'll do the question backwards. Would you imagine you're... Oh, fucking what we're doing. So I'm trying to research and do things. Right, imagine you're on the island and you're fully invested, yeah? You're not Jamie, you're fully invested in what he's preaching and stuff like that. Would you accept his word and just drink it?
What, if I was like the first person?
Say everyone's doing it at the same time.
And I'm starting to notice people frothing.
No, he's standing up in front of you and he's like, we're about to ascend, I don't know what the policy, we're about to ascend to the heavens to meet our creator. We all have to drink this special drink that I've created and you'll wake up and you'll be with him. And he lifts up his glass and everyone lifts up their glass and everyone says, huzzah! And then... So I've been watching the show The Great, and they say huzzah, so I've just been funneling it into everything. And everyone cheers it, and would you just question it, or would you just go, whoop?
I don't know, I would like to think that I wouldn't. But I've been in bars where I've been carried away, and people have been giving me some weird-ass drinks, and I've still drank it, do you know what I mean? So... Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would like to say that I would have the willpower to not buy into all of the original bullshit that they would feed me to get me to that point. Mm-hmm. But I think if I was in the situation and I was like more pliable than I am as a human being now, if I was a little bit more pliable and they could actually get it out of me, and I was that person that could follow a cult, because at the minute there's no way. I don't think I would ever go down the spiritual route ever. Mm-hmm. I probably would, but
depends how desperate you are, because I think I watch a lot of the Netflix do really good documentaries at the minute, and they've got quite a lot of cult stuff. And I think people are just burnt out. You know, if someone comes to you and they give you that option,
they offer you hope.
Yeah, and they give you that sort of, oh, you know, you come work for us. It's not really work. You know, you can work a couple of hours and then you can just relax and be with your people, and you're like, oh, sure, that sounds great. You know what I mean? Having to sit behind a desk for 10, 11 hours.
But it's just the following of it. It's just like they sit there in a lot of these things. Like, have you ever seen The Path with what's his name in it? The guy that plays Jesse Pinkman. What's his name? Aaron Paul.
Aaron, yeah, no, I haven't. No.
The Path
Aaron
is about.
Paul, isn't that something?
It's on Amazon, I think. It's about a cult.
Right.
And it's also got the guy from Hannibal. The
Aaron Paul, Hugh Dancy, Carl Allen.
So I was watching that, and they're like in this full blown cult, yeah.
Right.
And they're like they've distanced from family. They've done all the stuff that cults do. They isolate people out and all that stuff. But
right.
I just can't see myself sitting in like a sermon because I've never been religious. And when the more people that have died around me, because obviously I've known a lot of death up until this point. The more people that have died around me is pushed me further away from anything spiritual.
Yeah.
So for me to sit there and listen to someone's telling me that God's taking everyone away and we're going up to see the aliens behind planet fucking Pluto or whatever.
Yeah.
I just could not buy it. I'd sit there skeptical as fuck. I think they would have to put me on serious drugs to get me to go along with it. I'd have to be like fucking Valiumed up or something to the.
I think a lot of them are like that, aren't they? There are a lot of them are normally drug users and bits and bobs. I suppose it's easier now as well, considering like a lot of places weed's legal. They could grow it themselves. They didn't have to.
Well, a lot of the places, when I was looking into cults and stuff, a lot of the places use like shamans and use like ayahuasca and stuff, which is like proper psychedelics.
All right.
And that it makes people more pliable and more willing to listen to this like group leader.
Yeah.
And that's just really not what I fucking. It's not my forte. I don't even like being told what to do on a fucking 8-hour shift at work. Let alone listening to someone telling me about my beliefs and where my mum's going and where my dad's going and where's all this happening. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I am listening to you. I'm trying to find, because I was saying there's a documentary that I watched. I was trying to find the name. So it's not even fucking on there. I can't. Maybe there's a documentary about a cult in America, and it was all about if to get into like their holy place, you had to have at least 5 wives, and they had one of the biggest social service. They come in and they took away something like over 100 odd kids from this cult because they were marrying like their children off really young and getting them like pregnant and that, and they were all like basically influencing that. Oh, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Is that that's what's on Netflix, isn't it?
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't seen that yet.
I'm trying to. Yeah, so I can't get the information up. So it's basically it's this cult in America, and the whole thing is that the amount of wives you have determines your sort of ranking. So like the head of the cult had something like 12 or 13 wives, something like that.
That's a lot to deal with, isn't it? Fucking hell, man.
Yeah. And but I remember there was a point in the show where I was like, fair enough, a lot of these people have grown up in the cult, so you are a bit brainwashed, like your family believe in it and you know nothing else. Yeah,
like a Catholic being raised Catholic is going to be hard to get out of Catholic, being a Catholic, isn't it?
But there's a guy in it, he finally gets his 5th wife. He's got something like 20 kids from these 5 different women.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you too much because I think, but something happens, and the cult decide that they didn't like the way he dealt with it, or what he said. So in the middle of the night, they come to his house. They took most of his kids away from him. They took 3 of his wives away from him, gave them to other people, including the kids. They spread his kids out to other families, told him that he wasn't allowed to see him, told the kids that your dad doesn't exist anymore. Don't go looking for him. If you go looking for him, you'll be exiled. You'll never see anyone ever again.
That's fucking mad.
And he still to this day doesn't know where half his kids are.
That is insane.
And I think to myself, if you come into my house and take my family away from me, I don't care if I believe God's going to come down and fucking chop my dick off. You ain't touching my family. But he just let him do it.
Yeah, because
I'm sure obviously he moaned and, you know what I mean, tried to stop, but at the end of the day, he still let him do it. He still stayed within the fucking... You know what I mean?
I think the prime example of if a cult went worldwide or countrywide is Handmaid's Tale. If the drama show Handmaid's Tale is essentially like a cult is taking over America, and they do like this whole... The handmaids are like a woman that is... Because the reason it comes about is because women can't conceive as well. So the handmaids are women that are fertile, and then they do like this whole sex ceremony between like the husband and the wife, and then the handmaid is like in the middle, and then they pretend that the woman's going through the whole birth and everything and through the sex and everything, but they're not. It's the handmaid is being pregnant and then pumping out these babies for like these fucking cult fucking powerful people within the cult, and they've taken over the whole of America. It's like insane. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
But it's really fucked up. Like, it's basically just like they have like rape victims in every household. It's like it's mad.
That's mental, man.
And then obviously the woman in the Handmaid's Tale, they can't. The handmaid, once they've given birth, they either move on to the next house, or they hang around and then have the second baby once they're ready. But they're not allowed to interact with that child at all and treat it as their kid at all. They can't look at it and stuff like that. It's fucked.
That's mental, man. I think I would drink it.
Do you think? I think you would.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm in it, I'm in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fuck it. I don't piss about. I'm just gonna fucking drink it.
I can imagine you being one of the muscle guys on the fucking with the AK forcing everyone into the room.
If I'm in it, I'm in it. There's no 50% with Dan. It's I'm in, and I'd be like making people drink it, and then I'd still see them frothing, and I'd fucking drink it.
That's my time now, bitch.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I just I think it comes as well as a lot of I don't like to disappoint. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I think myself, I'm already in it. Why not? I think as well, what's the repercussion? You've now helped kill 900 people, and you're like, don't worry, you don't have to arrest me. I reconsidered. I'm now on your side. You know what I mean? I'll be sitting in jail going, what a fucking idiot. I should have just fucking drunk it.
Yeah. When you're on trial for 200 deaths or 900
yeah,
deaths.
Exactly, yeah. We can't trial the main guy because he fucking did it. We can trial you.
Yeah, yeah.
So what... We're running out of time. Well, it doesn't really matter. But what if you had a cult? It was hard. This question was hard for me because I know what I wanted it to be, but I'm too much of. I need all the bits and bobs. So I want it to be this, but I couldn't think of a way to convince people to have it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I was thinking. I was thinking at this point in time, what do people want that will get them to join a cult? And obviously, you got your taxes are raising. You got no life really. You can't afford food. You can't afford living. You ain't buying houses or anything like that. So they want an escape, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, right, so to get away from the government, international waters. And then we're talking about Waterworld, right? So I was like, right. So the main things in a cult, I always notice people they've got bankers and they've got engineers. Yeah. So that because they've always got money to keep coming in because they've got their bankers working, and they've always got new buildings because they've got their engineers. So I was like, I'm going to get my bankers invested first. I'm going to buy a fucking cruiser, like a yacht, not a yacht, a cruise ship.
Oh, and they get everyone living on there.
I'm going to live it on there. I'm going to take it to the international waters. I'm going to get my wind power and my water power going, so we've got electricity and we've got our Wi-Fi because you can still get Wi-Fi in international waters. And then I'm going to set it so it's like 2 hours of maintenance, like crops and things like that, and then the rest of the day banging and fishing and because I'm Dan. Everyone's got to be banging, isn't they? I don't give a fuck.
I knew 100% you would go straight into a sex cult. I think it would take less than 5 minutes, and you'd be like, "Okay, everyone's wives is mine."
Yeah. Let's just start the bagging. Yeah, it's like Charles Manson, but on a boat.
Yeah,
that's essentially what mine would be. They'd be like, no clothes. It'd be like, if someone's like having sex, I'm having sex with them. You know what I mean? It's just happening. That's what's been done. No marriage, because I don't want no one off the cards.
the thing is, I partially agree with you there. If I'm going to be a cult leader, the main reason I'm going to be a cult leader is because of what most cult leaders do, and they sexualize it within months. They tell you how it's all amazing. You're coming in as new families into this new commune. All of a sudden, your wife's going round to fucking Roger's house and having a good old nighttime dance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's knocking on the door. Oh, Uncle's come to visit at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Bedtime. Uncle's got some business. They're in the school. What house did Uncle visit tonight? Oh, it's mine. Oh, you lucky bugger. Yeah,
it's business. It's business time.
I just be walking around with my socks on. just strolling around, knocking on doors.
But yeah, I 100% go sexual within it. Probably I'll give it 2 months and then I'll start getting greedy. But I probably would. I don't think I'd go boat. I think I would go very Scientology and like get everyone to pay into it, and then create some huge compound that I'll be in some country they won't be able to get to me, and then that. Yeah,
but see, they always raid shit like that. That's why I don't. When you always watch they go big too fast.
Yeah,
and that makes them sort of go, oh.
I'll find some country that don't give a shit in it. I'll go to like Singapore
or like Mexico, God's blind spot.
One of them countries that don't care in it. I'll just be like, hey guys, because even to this day, I heard about it the other day. Do you know Mitt Romney, the guy that was trying to go for the presidency in America? Mm-hmm. He's a Mormon, and apparently there's a whole documentary done by Vice, where it's called "The Mormons versus the Cartels,"
Right.
And Mitt Romney's family have been at war with the cartels for years, and they have a huge compound in Mexico, which is like a fully armed like fortress. And he's over here acting like everything's normal because he's a US citizen, but it's like a huge fucking. It's a huge deal, but no one's admitted it because obviously they shoo everything under the carpet, innit, when it comes to presidencies and stuff like that. Yeah. So they've been at war with like the Mexicans for years, and they're in this compound. And Mitt Romney was deliberately born from his parents because they were like trying to be governors or something before. They deliberately gave birth to him in America so he could be an American citizen to go for the presidency.
Genau.
But they're like a Mormon, because obviously Mormons are like a cult, innit? And
yeah. Their whole thing of the guy found the books buried in the dirt, shown by a fucking.
Yeah. And they're polygamists as well.
No, I think that was banned, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I know I know Mitt Romney's dad had like 4 wives or something.
The sister wives bloke, he's a Mormon, lived in Salt Lake, and I'm sure. When he went on the telly after the first or second season, they had to leave and go on the run.
Oh, really?
Because they were, so they moved to like Las Vegas.
Oh, right.
I'm sure, I could be wrong. I'm not going to check it out because I've got something out. I don't want to lose the window. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a...
Well, yeah, I can imagine they actually would ban it because that would be a way for them to be more accepted than that.
Yeah, more than likely. Are you going along that lines? Did you know that Jared Leto has a cult?
I know that he's got some weird ass following going on.
Yeah, so it's in Croatia, and it says last year Jared Leto and his band 30 Seconds to Mars started a cult. The band invited fans who called themselves the Echelon to retreat to Croatia, where Leto, dressed in white robes, hosted hundreds of his devotees for a 3-day music festival complete with yoga and movie screenings. It's photos of him leading all these people along this island in his white robes like fucking Jesus.
Really strange, isn't it?
He is he has some good films, but since he did The Joker, I just think to myself, you're fucked up, mate.
Well, I think like his, do you know the Snyder Cut? His Joker in that was pretty cool.
Nah, I didn't.
You didn't like that either?
I don't like his. No.
But with Jared Leto, he's one of them guys that are like so obscure that he's a good actor, if you know what I mean. Like he's one of them weird ass guys, kind of like the guy that plays the butcher in, what's it called?
Oh, the guy that
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Judge Dredd.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he's good.
But he's weird as fuck as well. Do you know what I mean? I think you have to be like to a certain like level of weirdness to become these like method actors. Shia LaBeouf tries to do it on like some kind of weird ass note.
Shia LaBeouf.
So I think the moral of the story is from that episode:
There's a lot of sex in cults.
Huh?
There's a lot of sex in cults.
There's a lot of sex in cults. I wouldn't join mine or Dan's because you'll be taken advantage of.
Wait, what? Like I'm physically insulted.
Like a way to get in. And also, I would not trust your neighbours. Fuck what the Bible says. Anyway, over to you, Dan.
Is that it, Jamie?
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was getting carried away. I thought I was doing quite well there. If you want to write in, give us any content, and of course rank us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and everything. Give us the 5-star if you think we deserve it, obviously. If you want to write us, it's twomenohope@gmail.com. Over to you, Dan.
Sweet. So like I said, we've got some great music lined up. We had a suggestion for a name of this segment, New Talent Friday, which I thought was pretty good.
Better than
but I want to leave it up to you guys, because I then thought to myself, I quite like, I was thinking about Britain's Got Talent, and I thought about, what about No Hoper's Got Talent?
True, yeah.
So I'm going to leave it up to you. I'll put a thing on Twitter. I don't know if they can do a what do you call it on Instagram and that.
Not sure. Never tried it.
So if you can pick which one, yeah. So which one do you prefer? Would you prefer New Talent Friday or No Hoper's Got Talent?
If you've got no access to the Twitter or whatever, just email it in.
Send us an email. Like when you leave them stars, we'll take a generous 4-star if you don't want to leave us a 5, and write what you think our segment should be, and we'll officially name it. We might leave it till we got episode 20 is quite a good one, so we might leave the name in. So you got a few weeks to decide. We'll mention it really annoyingly every time until episode 20. So it's either New Talent Friday, which sounds like a band, or No Hoper's Got Talent, like Britain's Got Talent. Let us know what you think. But this week, I had all my windows wrong. This we had a entry from a record called Funnell Records. They have this lady on their books called Megan, and it says Megan is 22 years old, artist from Glasgow. Represent. Well, I say that, I'm just in Scotland, I'm nowhere near Glasgow, but yes. In 2011 she developed her love for songwriting after writing lyrics to the pop song Forget You by CeeLo Green for her Leavers ceremony. She taught herself piano and guitar, eventually writing songs of her own. In May 2021 she created an Instagram account to begin exploring ways to promote her music. A year later she met with Funnell Records to begin recording her music. She has since collaborated with Callum Fennell, founder and creator of Funnell Records, to write songs and release her single Always on the 18th of this month. She's also been on BBC Introducing in Scotland, aired her song on the 22nd of last month, which is a thing the BBC do for upcoming artists, and you can get your music on, which is a massive achievement. So well done, Megan. That's, you know what I mean?
That is a big achievement.
Somewhere in the, yeah, it's absolutely. Especially with the BBC, everyone's going to hear that. So we have the song Always. She has a really good voice, and I can imagine that you're probably going to hear a lot more of her, especially from Glasgow, because we've got some good stuff in Scotland. You know what I mean? You got old Lewis Capaldi from Livingston. We've got what's the other fella? What's the Scottish fella? Cinnamon. Gary Cinnamon?
Don't know.
Is that his name? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sure that's his name. Everyone in Scotland's going to be fucking yelling at me because I've got his name wrong. But he's massive. There's that. Who's the DJ that come from Scotland as well? Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
He's Scottish, so Megan's in the right country, I'll tell you that much. And like I said, she's got a brilliant voice. We hope you made it this far and you give her a chance and you have a listen. We'll put her Instagram in the description as always. I've looked at it, she's quite active on there, so you will get up to date stuff what's going on. And we'll catch you next time, and hopefully we'll have another good episode. But until next time, man, see you later.
Does that sound okay to you? Just wanna say hello, but I'm too afraid to say goodbye. We could have danced the whole night long till the stars come out to shine. Oh. Across the room, but I couldn't shake the good in me. I couldn't stop myself from feeling this way. There's always magic when you're around. Whoa. Oh, 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 whoa. Just wanna say hello, but I'm too afraid to say goodbye. We could have danced the whole night long till the stars come out to shine.